Hey, Shalom Yasharala, which means peace, Israel. I'd like to start out by giving our praises, our honor, and our glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash, Yahweh. That's the true and powerful mighty name of who the word ignorantly calls God, Jehovah, Yahweh, or Ahayah. Bahashem means in the name. Yahweh Shai, that's the true and powerful mighty name of who the word ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, Yeshua, Yeshua, or Yeshaya. And the Rakakwadash is the Holy Spirit, according to the ancient Paleo Hebrew tongue. I would like to get double honors unto the apostles and elders of Green Millstone, who I've learned the truth of the Bible from. And peace, blessing, safety, and salutation unto the hopeful elect, and to you believers and listeners out there. They came back into the faith and obedience of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Much love and respect unto you, brothers, pushing this gospel in sincerity and truth, risking your lives and freedom now more so than ever. May Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai continue to bless you in your households. I'm the brother Yawan, coming back at you with another lesson. Lord willing, this is edifying. Hey, man, we're getting closer and closer to MOTB, man. All roads at this point is leading towards the chip. 2 Corinthians chapter 2 and verse 11, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. Okay, let's get that in the NLT. And it reads, so that Satan will not outsmart us, for we are familiar with his evil schemes. Which is true, especially since the devil uses the same playbook every single damn time. God damn it. Satan come with the same plays, okay? But what we're going into is what he's signing into law, okay? You got to be aware and look at the subtext. 5 things to know as the Genius Acts becomes law. The bill, President Trump signed the Genius Act into law on Friday, enacting the first major cryptocurrency legislation. They pretty much making it legal tender now, man. Okay. The bill, which sets up the regulatory framework for payment stablecoins, reached Trump's desk after a tumultuous week in the House, in which competing GOP factions revolted over a trio of crypto bills. The chaos brought the House floor to a standstill and resulted in the longest vote on record in the chamber. Republican leaders struck a deal late Wednesday night to move forward with the consideration of the bills, unfreezing the floor and allowing votes to proceed on Thursday. The House ultimately voted 308 to 122 to pass the Genius Act, with 102 Democrats joining most Republicans to support the legislation, and that's because they two birds of a feather. Hey, call them La Yahweh Shema Shai 144. Okay, horns as a lamb. Yeah, Revelation 13:11. Revelation 13:11, and I beheld another beast coming out of the earth and beheld, and Revelation 13:11, Salakia, and I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. Okay, and that goes into the 2 political parties. You know, you got the so-called left wing, right wing, Democrats and Republicans. Okay, but they all speak as a dragon. They all, 2 birds of one, 2 feathers, 2 wings of one bird. Okay, back to the article. So, seal of approval for the cryptocurrency. Here's the 5 things to know about the newly minted stablecoin law. The signing of Genius Act marks a key milestone for the industry as the first step of the U.S. government really regulating cryptocurrency, said Rob Nolan, a partner at Duane Morris and a member of the law firm's digital asset and blockchain group. And the first major digital asset bill is to clear Congress and receive the president's signature. It imbues the industry with new legitimacy. Okay, like I said, it's now looked at as legal tender. It's big because when you have a law, it essentially gives a good housekeeping seal of approval to the industry. Ian Katz, manager partner of Capital Alpha, told The Hill, "You know how Congress and the President of the United States signing off the legitimacy of the industry. You can interpret the legislation as encouraging the activity," Katz said. To a lot of people, this is the sort of thing you need to really get an industry to take off. And hey, this is one of the final steps that they needed to bring that push for the MOTB. Okay. Um, you now have Congress and okay. You can interpret the legislation as encouraging the activity to get a lot of people. This is the sort of thing you need to really get an industry to take off. The passage of the bill marks a sharp reversal of the industry's fortunes in Washington, which just last year still looked somewhat bleak. The industry struggled to regain its footing after the shocking collapse of crypto exchange FTX in 2022 and the subsequent fraud charges filed against its founder, Sam Bankman, was later found guilty and sentenced to 25 years in prison. Under the Biden administration, the industry also contended with former secretaries and exchanges commission chair Gary Gensler, who brought numerous enforcement actions against crypto firms. They accused Gensler of attempting to regulate via enforcement rather than providing clear rules. By contrast, Trump has embraced the industry in his second term, naming David Sachs as AI and crypto czar, inviting crypto leaders to the White House, and signing an executive order to create a strategic Bitcoin reverse in digital asset stockpile. Broader crypto framework still in the works. While the industry secured a victory with the Genius Act, it represents just one part of a regulatory puzzle for digital assets. This is just the first little bite at the apple because it's really a small portion of cryptocurrency assets, Nolan added. Stablecoins are just one type of cryptocurrency. They are tied to another asset, like the US dollar, to maintain a more stable price. You hear that? They linking it. They pretty much linking it with the dollar so the dollar can have a more stable price. And then once the dollar is not physical anymore, it's gonna be they're trying to make the transaction as smooth as possible. Congress has yet to pass legislation creating a broader crypto framework. The key issue at hand is how to split up oversight between the SEC and the Commodity Future Trading Commission. The House last week passed its version of crypto market structure legislation known as the Digital Asset Market Clarity Act. The Senate, which has moved at a slower pace, is separately preparing to release its own discussion draft. Despite previously aiming to pass both stablecoin and market structure legislation before Congress leaves for its August recess, the White House and GOP leadership are now aiming to wrap up the second key crypto bill by the end of September. So financial regulators take on new responsibilities. Under the Genius Act, several financial regulators are poised to take on new responsibilities regulating stablecoins. The Office of Comptroller of Currency, I think it's supposed to, is set to regulate standalone stablecoin issuers while it and Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, and National Credit Union administration will regulate institutions they already oversee the issue's stablecoin. Stablecoin issuers can seemingly expedite the approval process if they become chartered banks with the OCC, which has already prompted several stablecoin users, including Circle and Ripple, to apply for bank licenses. Banking industries pushes back on crypto charters. The banking industry isn't entirely content with the direction in which things are heading and is making its concerns known, particularly on the push by some stablecoin users to seek bank charters. Because and that's what they're telling the people, but a lot of these banks, they already are making the transition. Okay. They just telling the people this, I feel as a man, to not incite, chaos and panic and confusion. In a letter to the OCC on Thursday, several major banking associations questioned whether the stablecoin users would be performing the activities of national trust banks and called for the agency to hold off on taking up their applications for now. Given these substantial concerns and the policy, legal, and commercial implications that chartering the applicants will have for the banking system, the associates urged the OCC to postpone consideration of the applicants. The banking groups wrote. Traditional players weigh stablecoin adoption. Even some voice concerns. Many traditional players in the financial services spaces are considering or already moving onto stablecoins. Bank of America CEO Brian said last week that his bank is working to launch a stablecoin, while Citigroup CEO Jane Fraser said her bank was considering such a move, Reuters reported. JP Morgan Chase announced last month it was launching a stablecoin like deposit token called JPMD, and CEO Jamie Dimon said last week that his company would be involved in stablecoins as well. See, I already told you, these banks are already making the shift, making the move, because this is the next big thing, and this is part of their NWO, and they need these major banks to make this move in order, you know, for the sheeple to, just, hey, well, go ahead. Oh, it's a new thing my bank's doing. Oh, in order to bank here, I got to do this. Just watch. You can see the groundwork. That's why I started with, we're not ignorant to Satan's devices. Okay? Just like how they did with the debit card. And you can just get a checkings account and get your little checkbook and be all right. But now you get a checkings account, you got to have a card. And then these banks are going to start requiring you to have cryptocurrency. Watch, it's going to be a whole uh, gradualism. They're going to gradually, work it in there. But continuing on the article, Cat said he expects traditional players to not let standalone stablecoin issuers just grab that potential market. Some of them are probably not even totally convinced that this market is going to be nearly as big as what it's being projected, but they can't take any chances. They have to plan defensively and make sure that they're not left out in the cold if stablecoin really takes off in a big way in the coming years, which it is. It may not be under the term stablecoin, it might be under something else. Okay, but this is all going towards the MOTB. Okay, let's look at the comment section. All right. Got somebody talking shit about Trump. Mm-hmm. Okay. Oh, look at this one from Gene. In proof, unregulated currency is a thing of the past like magic, and digital currency is one step closer to reality. as is the end of the world as we know it. Oh, look at this. Deca Lewis. You can't use cryptocurrency unless you have a chip in your head or hand. Don't do it. It's the mark of the beast. And then you got Gene mocking. I have a tap chip on my bank card and my pen is in my head. And you always got somebody that wants to mock and scoff, man. But hey, that chick, Deca, she knew what was going on. Okay, and that's crazy how a lot of these everyday people know that just know what the MOTB is, but a lot of you Israelite groups don't know. Okay, Deca Lewis again. It sounds like fake money. The government will be able to control your every move, which is true. And stablecoin is just a new term for CBDC. Okay, they didn't that um, stablecoins is the new CBDC. They just brought it under a new umbrella because everybody was getting hip to CBDCs. So all they do is just they repackage it, rebrand it, and rename it. Okay, but let's get a few more scriptures. Okay, let's get what Miss Decker Lewis was talking about. Okay, Revelation 13. We're gonna jump down to verse 16. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or on their foreheads. Okay, and that's really the main sections they're gonna be telling people to get it. But people are gonna be getting it all over, getting on their arms, neck. Okay, because once this thing they make this thing seem like it's cool or whatever, people gonna be getting body modifications. Okay, they already showed you in the movies and video games. But continuing on, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that have the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. And stable, they need some type of digital asset that's legal to be able to represent to be the currency for the MOTB. So this is what they're trying to do. They're trying to they it was going to be CBDCs, but now it looks like it's repackaged and rebranded under stable coins now. And I'm pretty sure it's going to be called something else at this, when it's finally implemented. Verse 18, here is wisdom, let him that have understanding count the number of the beast, for it's the number of a man, and it's 603 score and six. Shasta stigma. Revelation 14 and 9. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. Okay, and that guy Gene that was in the comment section, he gonna be somebody that's gonna take it because he don't believe. Okay, Second Ezra 15:3. Fear not the imaginations against thee. Let not the incredulity or the unbelief of them trouble thee that speak against thee. For all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. For behold, said the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world, sword, famine, death, and destruction. For wickedness have exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. And that's why all these things is happening. Okay, because all the wickedness is going on in the land. And we getting closer and closer. As that wickedness keeps piling on higher and higher, man. Y'all about Shimmy how shots finna bring the hammer down. Okay, that's why it's important to measure down the time diligently in itself. Because you don't know he's gonna come as a thief in the night. So I'm gonna go ahead and end it there. I pray and hope this lesson was edifying, giving our praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashemi, Hawashai, Bahashim Kakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone, and peace, blessing, safety, and salutation unto the hopeful elect and to you believes and listeners out there. Shalom.